What's poppin', Rockstars? My name is MT, and after months of shaking our fists at Marvel Studios demanding a trailer for the new Eternals movie, it is finally here! Praise the Celestials, hallelujah! And good God, is it looking like a beautiful blast from the past, as this film is confirmed to take place over the course of thousands of years within the past of the MCU, as far back as the very origins of mankind by the divine sciences of the Celestials. And if comments from Thanos comic creator Jim Starlin are to be believed, there is a good chance that we might run into a certain mad teenager from Titan in Chloe Zhao's new Eternals film as well. That's right, if you think that we have seen the last of Thanos, think again, nerds! But before I get into those theories, I want to let you guys know that this video is brought to you by Squarespace. From websites and online stores to marketing tools and analytics, Squarespace is the all-in-one platform to build your beautiful online presence and run your business. Okay, how? Like, how the hell is a young Thanos going to cameo in the new Eternals movie anyway? Well, I'm glad you asked, because your boy MT has got some theories. And I believe the most likely way that we are going to see Thanos in Eternals is via Thanos' father, Alars, also known as the Eternal Mentor. Now, what makes Mentor significant is that he is the leader of the Eternals on Saturn's moon of Titan. But, fun fact, Mentor is actually from a little planet called Earth. Have you guys heard of it? It's that blue rock floating in space where people take pictures of their feet for money. But that is not the only thing that makes Mentor an important figure in Marvel history, because Mentor is actually the first pure member of the Eternals race to be referenced within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like, remember when Thanos went to the planet Vormir with his very eatable daughter Gamora, and they ran into the ghost of Nazi past? Well, in that moment, Red Skull calls Thanos,
"Welcome, Thanos, son of Elos,"
which directly points to the existence of this Eternal inside of the MCU. Now, the reason why I say Mentor is the first Eternal reference and not Thanos is because while Thanos is an Eternal, he's not 100% pure Eternal, or else he wouldn't look like a giant purple Ruffles chip. Thanos was born with something called Deviant Syndrome within his blood, which caused his appearance to look more aligned with that of the Deviant race, who are the enemies of the Eternals and the genetic mistakes of the Celestial experimentation. Now, if Chloe Zhao and Marvel Studios are indeed telling the story of Earth's Eternals that spans thousands of years, it would be kind of difficult to do that without at least touching on Mentor's departure from Earth thousands of years in the past to form a new colony of Earth's Eternals on Saturn's moon of Titan. Now, I believe that when this exact story is told through flashbacks, that we could actually get to see a montage that features the birth and growth of the Mad Titan himself, as he pops purple pimples and, most likely, attempts to follow in his father's footsteps as a scientist on the moon of Titan. A scientist that would, of course, eventually recommend planetary genocide as a solution to Titan's dwindling resource problem, a perspective that I'm assuming that is due to the very deviant mutation within Thanos' genes. Because if you look at the Eternals trailer, it seems that the Eternals have been charged by the Celestials to take care of humanity. And if you're thinking, oh, that's so nice, the Celestials are so sweet, it's such nice space robot looking people, get that thought out of your mind, okay? Just remove it completely. Because the Celestials were only looking after humanity because the human race were their precious science experiments, because of all that neat cosmic stuff that they hid within humanity's DNA. Neat cosmic stuff like the X gene. Anyways, what I'm saying here is that it is within the Eternals' very nature to advocate for the preservation of life, because this is the very reason why they exist in the first place. But because Thanos' genes were mutated by the Deviant Syndrome, this innate Eternal draw towards the preservation of life was warped with a deviant-type ruthless mentality within Thanos' already heavily logical science-based mind that he got from his papa Mentor. Now, this would be a great way to illustrate how mentally up the deviant gene can make you, because while they weren't featured within the Eternals teaser trailer, Marvel Studios' official synopsis for the movie confirms the deviants of the planet Earth to be a main antagonistic force for the Eternals, as they are in the comics. But before I continue, like I said before, this video is sponsored by the beautiful people at Squarespace. From websites and online stores to marketing tools and analytics, Squarespace is an all-in-one platform to build a beautiful online presence and run your business. Want to start a website for your business? Maybe your cupcakes or graphic tees or coffee mugs with very good superhero puns are ready to hit the market and start selling. Present your cool stuff using Squarespace's professional portfolio design. Display projects in customizable galleries. And you can auto-post your content to to Twitter, Facebook, or Tumblr, and they have built-in mobile websites and a really slick mailing list to stay in touch with your customers. Squarespace will even sell you a URL, which is great. Head to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/newrockstars to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. That's squarespace.com/newrockstars for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. But anyways, that is just one way Thanos could appear in the new Eternals movie. Another way we could potentially see a young Thanos in Eternals is through direct contact with the Celestials themselves. Because think about it, the only person that I can think of in the MCU who had universally devastating plans outside of Thanos and maybe Malekith is the Celestial Ego, the living planet. Now, if you think back to the events of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, you'll remember that the Celestial Ego had the power to influence Peter's mind and show him the cosmic perspective. I see it. And apparently that shit is so diesel that Peter Quill was fully ready to abandon his new family and the entire universe just because his Sky Daddy tapped him on the forehead. This is because Star-Lord straight up saw the universe the way that cosmic beings see the universe. And when you have the eyes of a god, you start to give as much of a shit about the quality of life of mortal beings just as much as you would insects outside of your house.
Imagine with a
Insect.
Now, what if this very thing was done to young Thanos as well? Like, what if the reason why Thanos is called the Mad Titan was because he had his mind touched and driven mad by the Celestials? And I can think of two pretty good reasons why the Celestials could have done this to Thanos. With the most obvious one being, you can't really conduct experiments on life if all the life you experiment on lives themselves to death. Because most life in the MCU, of course, exists on planets, and those planets have limited resources and sensitive ecosystems and all of that, and the Celestials are fully aware of this. Yes, the reproduction of life on those planets is the very goal of the Celestials so that they can monitor the evolutionary progress of various races over time. But you can't check up on your lab rats if all the lab rats eat all of the cheese and set the maze on fire while you're gone. So, what do the Celestials do? They use an Eternal, of course. Because again, as we can see from the Eternals trailer, that's who the Celestials use to conduct their lab rat maintenance. And what better Eternal to use than the genetically mutated beast of a purple that is Thanos of Titan. Like, that dude is like super strong and his Deviant Syndrome gives him like super tough skin. The Celestials could have been the very force that initially gave Thanos this cosmic perspective and the drive to start mowing the cosmic lawn by killing off half of everything that exists. This way, not only do the people of these planets get awarded more time to evolve past their original expiration dates, but the Celestials also buy themselves more time to check up on the genetic and evolutionary progress of their experiments throughout the universe. Because I don't know if you guys heard this, but the universe, it's pretty big. Almost as big as your mom. Got him! Anyways, the second reason I have for the Celestials introducing themselves into the life of a young Thanos and driving him crazy is something I like to call the Galactus Imperative. Now, in the Marvel Comics, the being known as Galactus doesn't eat entire planets in one sitting just because they taste like chicken. Galactus was the universal custodian and a vital part of the universe as a whole. It's a little complicated, but the long story short is, if Galactus stops eating, the universe will become crazy unbalanced and the continued existence of everything that is good will be canceled, much like Firefly, Parks and Rec, or my 6-year relationship.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
And since Galactus is a being born at the beginning of time, but has yet to be seen by anyone within the Marvel Cinematic Universe that we know about, if this theory is correct, I'm gonna go ahead and assume that something happened to Galactus at some point in the past, and I'm also willing to bet that the also MIA Fantastic Four had something to do with it. But that's not what this video is about. But regardless of how Galactus was removed from the equation, there is still a possibility that the universe chose Thanos as Galactus's cosmic understudy. Because what was one of the last things Thanos said before Thor went for the head? Roll the clip, John!
But the work is done. It always will be. I am inevitable.
Like, Thanos seemed pretty convinced that the fruits of his labor were inevitable, that something on such a terribly devastating universal scale has happened before and will happen again, even if he is not the one to do it. Again, because the Eternals are the celestial babysitters of life, I think that the Celestials could have given Thanos the universal responsibility of cosmic balance that Galactus originally had. And if this theory is right, and we now live in a universe where Thanos and the celestial tools known as the Infinity Stones are both gone, well, the work now remains unfinished, which means that a new universal threat could be on the horizon. The Annihilation Wave, mayhaps? I don't know, but I do know that Papa Feige has got to make the Annihilation Wave happen at some point, because it's so good. It's so good. It's such a good story, guys. You have to read it. But anyways, those are just some ways that we could see a young Thanos appear in the new Eternals movie. But I have said nerd words long enough. What do you guys think, my beautiful nerd babies? How do you guys think a young Thanos will appear in the new Eternals film? Let us know in the comment section below. And of course, thank you guys so much for watching this video. And if you want to watch me tweet the most random things on the internet like a madman, you can follow me at MasterTainment on Twitter or on Instagram. But more importantly, you can follow New Rockstars on YouTube and wherever else we are on social media, and make sure to hit the notification bell so you get notifications whenever we upload dope shit, which is fairly constant, so you don't want to miss any of it. But anyways, stay safe. I love you all deeply, and I will see you guys very soon. Catch you guys later.